When BioWare was busy turning Dragon Age into a Twitter thread and Bethesda shipped 1,000 planets of nothing, a small Polish studio were quietly creating a space game that makes them all look stupid. It's called The Alters. You probably haven't heard of it, and that's exactly the problem, because it just proved that everything AAA publishers say is too hard isn't. Emotional consequences, check. Meaningful choices, check. Systems that respect you, yep. All made by 40 people with a fraction of Starfield's budget, and somehow they created a single planet way more interesting than Bethesda's entire galaxy. So here's why The Alters is the game AAA doesn't want you to play. You know the excuses by now, right? Choices are hard to implement, narrative games don't sell, combat keeps players engaged. We've heard it all before, but The Alters has no combat, none. And before you roll your eyes thinking, great, another walking simulator, hear me out. The developers said, we never wanted to make a shooter with aliens behind every corner. And in this game, you play as Jan Dolsky, stranded on a hostile alien planet who survives by creating alternative versions of himself. The planet's deadly sunrise will kill you if you don't stay ahead of it. But here's what would make every focus group break out in cold sweats. These aren't mindless NPCs, they're versions of you, with trauma, with complete autonomy. Each alter remembers a life they never lived. Jan the scientist who got his PhD, Jan the botanist who followed love around. They believe they're the real Jan waking from cryo sleep. They have no idea they're newly created clones with fabricated memories. And if you treat them like tools, they'll rebel, they break down, they end themselves, sometimes taking others with them. It's not a power fantasy where you collect followers, it's a consequence simulator where every decision ripples through your own fractured psyche. Tell me the last time a AAA game asked you this. What if you met every version of yourself you could have been? What if they were angry at you for the choices you made? What if you had to choose which ones died first? And this entire system was built, surprise surprise, without a $1 billion budget. 11-bit Studios made The Alters with about 60 developers over 3 years. Budget was roughly 15 to 25 million, which is nothing. That's what Starfield spent on texture streaming that didn't work. The studio itself was founded by ex-CD Projekt Red members, so these aren't wide-eyed indies. They're veterans who've seen what works and chose to do something completely different. Their CEO even said they have good cash flow and don't need additional cash. And that freedom there is exactly why this game exists, because that freedom let them take genuine creative risks that publisher-owned studios simply can't. Their secret is so simple it's almost insulting. They cut all of the bullshit. No open world filler, no collectibles scattered across empty maps because some producer thought we needed content to justify an $80 price tag. No crafting systems that just exist because someone ticked a box. Everything feeds into the one question: who are you and who could you have been? And the game director actually said this, and it blew my mind, honestly. He said, we don't care if you become a better player, we care if you become a better person. And can you even imagine saying that at EA without getting escorted out by security? The game is 3 acts, handcrafted environments, 30 hours-ish, no 100-hour padding because engagement metrics said that's what keeps people playing. When asked about the scope, they said they simply wanted it to be big where it needs to be big, but small where it doesn't need to be. And that right there is a revolutionary concept, apparently. Make things intentional instead of just massive. But let me show you what this small team built that embarrasses every major studio crying about development costs. The Alter system is everything modern RPGs pretend to be. You create alternate Jans based on different life paths, voiced by one actor, Alex Jordan, who spent 240 hours recording 11 different personalities, all recognizably Jan, but entirely different people. That's more voice work than most AAA protagonists get in total. So here's where it blew my mind. The Alters can become genuinely angry at the original Jan. They remember their fabricated pasts as if it really happened. If you neglect their emotional needs, they become rebellious, push them too far, and they end it all, and can even influence other Alters to join them. The developers deliberately capped the crew at 5 or 6 Alters because they said you'll feel awful for letting them down. They wanted you to treat them as people, not just resources. It's their storytelling through mechanics philosophy. The best games tell their story through core gameplay mechanics. The player has the opportunity to literally experience the topic we're discussing. That ethical complexity runs deeper than any AAA moral system dares to venture. Are these alternate selves truly alive or just your tools? The game forces you to decide while you're running out of time. 1 second real time equals 1 minute in the game, so you physically cannot do everything. Someone always gets left behind and it hurts a lot. Compare that to what what we've been getting. Starfield gives you base building with no emotional context, just another sandbox to fill. Dragon Age the Veilguard has your companions apologizing for basically everything. The Altars, on the other hand, has your clone begging you to stop pushing him towards a breakdown while the reactor goes critical. It's not about what you can do, it's about what you're willing to sacrifice, and no AAA studio with unlimited resources thought to ever explore that tension. Everything connects, everything matters, nothing exists just to pad the runtime. When was the last time you could say that about a $70 release? But you know what the Altars doesn't have? Cringe dialogue every 30 seconds, Marvel-style banter designed by committee, characters who sound like they're reading therapy speak from customer service scripts. Instead, you get a grounded exploration of identity and regret. Each altar feels real because they were written as complete people, not quest dispensers with different personalities. One carries grief from losing someone Yan never met, another has confidence from achievements Yan never made. When tensions explode between altars, it's not because the script demanded drama, it's because your choices led inevitably to this moment. The altars make you feel like parts of yourself are slipping away, and it matters because the writing convinced you there were real people worth saving. But here's what got me: the game explores what happens when someone realizes their traumatic memories never occurred. Does that make the pain any less real, or does it offer you hope that you can become someone new? And the writing poses those questions without easy answers, trust you to wrestle with that complexity constantly. And in 2025, games that treat the players like adults who can handle choice are rare. What's better is it's only 35 quid on launch day one on Game Pass, no microtransactions, no season passes for content that doesn't even exist yet, just a finished game that works. And most of you probably still haven't heard of it yet because it wasn't built for viral marketing, no celebrity endorsements, no £1,000,000 campaigns, just a good game that respects your time, priced fairly and delivered complete, and I can't recommend it enough. Every excuse your favourite AAA studio makes about why they can't do better just got obliterated by a small team of people from Poland. Too expensive to implement choice consequences, narrative games don't sell, players don't want complex themes. The Altars is another example, alongside Clair Obscur and Baldur's Gate 3, that proves all of it was corporate cowardice dressed as market reality, and honestly, that should make you angry. 11-bit studios have created something that will be remembered. They did it by asking harder questions and trusting their audience to engage with the answers. They chose creative risk over market research, depth over breadth, artistic vision over focus group consensus, and somehow, shockingly, it worked. But here's what won't change, and you know it: the big studios will keep making the same mistakes because admitting the Altars is right means admitting they've been wrong for years. The Altars exists as proof another way is possible, that games can respect your intelligence, explore meaningful themes, and still deliver entertainment. It's the game the industry claims is impossible, built by people who just got on with making it anyway. If more games were like the Altars, we'd have a very different industry, one that trusts its audience, rewards creativity, and remembers why we fell in love with games in the first place.